Hey everybody, how's it going today? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be going over my trading results for the day, and then I'm going to be showing you some interesting trades I see setting up in the Tattooed Chef, Clean Spark, and some others. Now, before I get started, as always, everybody, please remember I am not a financial advisor. All of this is just my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Please make all of your own trading decisions. All right, so let's get into my trading activity for the day, and then we'll get into some nice looking trade setups. Again, I only made one day trade on the day because I'm kind of waiting for the market to show me a signal that's going to be following through. But the good news is I think it is starting to do that. So I might end up making another trade before the day is over, but I'll get into the overall market later. But the first trade, or the only trade that I made on the day was in Progenity. This one actually wasn't even on my day trade list, but none of the ones that I was watching for my day trades were making a decent signal. And then this one fired off because it was breaking through this trend line. I didn't intend for this one to be a day trade, but the way that it was running, I figured I'd just make a quick day trade on it and then evaluate later if I wanted to enter this one. But let's go to the 5-minute chart and take a look at how this trade played out. Back it out just a little bit here. We can see it's actually starting to make another run on the day. But when this thing initially gapped up, it pulled back just a little bit, and then I was stopped in at about $4.47. Actually put the order in at $4.45, but that's where it got executed at, was $4.47. Then I ended up getting out on this burst up to $4.84. So it was about a 8% gain, so I only made about $485, and I actually thought that $485 was pretty good. But Robert from the Patreon, put me in my place, saying he was up $28,000 on this position for the day. So I had to go back to the little boy table. His motto is "Go big or go home," and I believe it because, man, that is a big position. I normally would never take a position that big in a stock this low, especially, on a day trade. I don't like to take too much leverage on it, but hey, if it is working for someone else, have at it. Don't do what I do if it's working for you, and definitely is working for Robert. But man, just getting back to the daily chart on Progenity, you can see this thing is looking like it's just going to keep going. I was kind of hoping to get in at a better, entry point once it pulled back after I sold into that day trade, because I was looking at this resistance right here at $5 all the way back in March and April, and it has hit that ceiling, but it hasn't really rolled over all that much. It rolled over just a little bit below where I ended up selling it at, but it looks like it's picking up momentum and it's probably going to blast through it. So a lot of strength in Progenity, tons of volume coming into this one. So this was probably not the ideal day trade candidate. This is probably the ideal swing trade candidate, but this thing took off so fast. I don't like buying when they're too extended, so I'm going to wait hopefully for a pullback in this one. Maybe try to play the next move up, because I definitely think we're probably going to get some more follow through to the upside. But let's get to the ones that I was watching. I was watching GGPI, and this one actually made a decent looking chart pattern, but I had already taken that position in Progenity. But if we go to the 5-minute chart, we could see that if I hadn't taken that trade and if I was a little bit more patient, I probably could have made a little bit of money on GGPI, because it did make this break out here at $15.50 and then ran all the way up to $16.35. So there wasn't a ton of profit available there, but you definitely could have made a nice trade on that 15-minute breakout if you wanted to get in just a little bit later. I like to get in the first hour or so. That's not set in stone, but that's the sweet spot where I notice I usually have a little bit better of a win rate if I stick within the first hour. But the next one was KZR. We'll just stick right to the 5-minute chart on KZR. You can see KZR, had a little bit of break above that 15-minute bar, but then it immediately reversed. So if I would have been stopped in on this trade, this would have definitely been a loss for me. So good thing I didn't get stopped in on that one. But let's go to the daily chart and look at that one, because the way that this thing was kind of setting up, I was actually looking at this one as one of my favorites on the day, but it didn't end up panning out. That's how it works out, because the momentum was definitely to the upside. Had a nice little, bullish flag formation going on, and then this explosion coming in with big volume, but didn't end up following through. So be it. I didn't even take that trade anyway. The next one was CYTH. Zoom in a little bit here. CYTH was one I was worried about because it was coming up on that 200 period simple moving average. This one was a little bit low on the list, and we can see it definitely reversed at that 200 period simple moving average. So you always have to be aware of those major moving averages. I'm always leery when they are gapping up into either this blue one, which is the 50 period simple moving average, or the yellow one, which is the 200 period simple moving average. And the last one I was watching was CHCI. And looking at CHCI, this is one that I was a little leery of as well because it was also going to be moving through that 200 period simple moving average. You can see there's a whole lot of chop going on with CHCI. So since this one really wasn't showing me a ton of strength in the beginning stages of the market open, I just kind of did a pass on this one. And then once I saw Progenity, that was the one. But those were my day trades that I was looking at. Let's get into some other charts. All right, so let's jump into those market averages, and I'll show you what I mean about how I am just about ready to start putting on some more risk. We'll start with the QQQs first, which of course is the NASDAQ, and if I zoom in a little bit, you can see we're having a nice big green update, a nice big green candle breaking above the high from yesterday, which is very important. So the QQQs having a lot more strength than I thought we were probably going to have today, and that is a good sign. I don't mind being pleasantly surprised. So I think we are knocking on the door of making a new all-time high with the NASDAQ. And if we go to that 15-minute chart, back it out just a little bit, this is what was the most concerning for me, was this trend line right here. I thought we were in danger of breaking that yesterday, but you could see with today's price action, it's been very strong. And, you know, we're not out of the woods yet as far as this trend line goes, but definitely looking a lot better. And you can see the NASDAQ is certainly having a hard time with this resistance area that I drew on the chart, but you know, that is to be expected. But I do think I'm probably going to end up pushing through it, hopefully anyway. And if that's what happens, then I think it's going to be just about all systems go as far as more risk on for me. This is about the last thing that I am waiting for. So QQQ is looking really good. Let's go back to the daily chart and then jump over to the SPY. Jump into the SPY, you can see this one is even stronger. This thing was knocking on the door of that new all-time high, found some resistance at it, and is pulling back just a little bit, but of course that is to be expected, so not that big of a deal. And if we go to the 15-minute chart, definitely the S&P 500 is the strongest of all the ones that I am watching, right there at a new high, so very bullish for the SPY. The lagger, of course, is still the Dow. For whatever reason, the Dow is having a hard time getting going. It's kind of stuck in this little channel right here, and I think the other averages are going to end up drawing the Dow Jones up. But going back to that daily, you can see, you know, it's just having a hard time for whatever reason. I didn't think there was too many laggers in the Dow, but apparently there is. And going to the IWM real quick, you see the IWM trying to make a little bit of a double bottom here, and I think this one's going to be putting pressure on that resistance area right here at 240.25. I think this level is very important, but it's also a very good sign that the IWM is closing back above, or it looks like it could be closing back above the 8-period exponential moving average. The trading day is not over just yet, but definitely a bullish day for the IWM. So the market averages are definitely improving, and that's what I wanted to see to start taking on some more trades, and it looks like we are almost there. But let's get into some charts. All right, the first interesting chart that I want to go over is the Tattooed Chef. Full disclosure, I do own some shares in this one. And by the way, I do have a Patreon group. The link is down there in the description. It's only $10 a month. So if you do want to know what we are trading in real time, that link is down there. And also, if you don't mind hitting the smash button, or liking the smash button, or hitting the like button, whatever they say, I sure would appreciate it, because supposedly it helps out the channel. But anyway, getting to this chart of the Tattooed Chef. The Tattooed Chef, if you haven't heard, has had a little bit of a fiasco with their earnings. They had their earnings that were coming out last week, and they canceled them abruptly, but they're supposed to be being released at the end of the day today, unless they cancel them again. But we're starting to see a lot of volatility come into this stock in the last hour or so. So I don't know if some people caught some news that is going to be coming out later, or if there's just going to be an absolute train wreck announcement. I think if there is a move down tomorrow, if we get a gap down because of, you know, poor guidance or whatever, I do think that that is going to get bought up quickly. I mean, unless there's something really catastrophic that gets announced, I think any kind of weakness is going to get bought up quickly, and I plan on buying it. I've been buying the chef over this year once it gets down to this support box. It's sitting at it right now. I haven't added this time. I'm kind of waiting for earnings to come out and find out what the heck is going to go on. But every time I buy at this support box, it has worked out. Hopefully I can get some tomorrow, you know, if the earnings aren't super crazy. But I think that's going to be a buying opportunity for me in the Tattooed Chef. Next one I want to talk about is another position I have on. It is CleanSpark. I have been in this thing for quite a while, and we've had a nice move up in CleanSpark, but I've kind of been waiting for it to top out a little bit so I can buy some puts to protect my position, and that's what we are finally getting today. If we go to that 15-minute chart, back it out, you can see we are in the middle of a long, rounded top formation. That doesn't mean the uptrend is completely toast. It doesn't mean that at all, but what it does mean is we are probably in, CleanSpark is probably going to take a little bit of a breather, and a pullback at this point in this run-up is completely healthy. I mean, this thing has gone from right around 1050 all the way to a high over 2350. So this thing definitely needs a breather. If we get a little bit of a bounce up here, I'm going to be very interested in buying some puts to protect my position, because I think we are going to get some more follow through to the downside, because we had a pretty significant break of this support level and it's not really bouncing at all. So I think this thing is going to have some continued weakness. I actually tried to get in on the $20 put at $1.15 and it did not get executed. And now I believe that $20 put last time I checked is up to $1.60. So would have been up about 40% on that if I would have got executed. I was sitting on the bid, but I tried to actually buy them when it was bouncing up right here. If it would have just made it up just a little bit farther, mine would have got executed. But maybe I'll be able to get in on it tomorrow if we have, you know, a little bit of a move up. Those options are still kind of expensive, you know, with only 3 days left. With that put at $1.15 or $1.20, wherever it was. I mean, I was right there, 50 cents out of the money with only 3 days left, and that put was, you know, still worth $1.20, $1.15. I mean, that's kind of expensive. But anyway, hopefully we get a little bit of a move up and I can enter that trade. But those are my thoughts on CleanSpark. Let's get to some other positions. Another one that I was watching was PXLW. This one I missed today because I was involved in some other trades, but I was watching for this one to come down to this 8-period exponential moving average, and it came right down to it and bounced almost to the penny. I was looking at about $5.06 for an order, and this thing came all the way down to $5.03 and turned around. It's up to $5.25 right now, but I love playing these little day trades where it comes down to 8-period exponential moving average. That happens so often. Now, sometimes it's only a temporary bounce and then it rolls back over. Sometimes it ends up being the low for the pullback. But I love playing those for day trades, and I thought PXLW was a perfect candidate, and it ended up working out, at least so far. But PXLW looks like it is bouncing. Now, another one that I am watching is APTO. Put that in here. APTO, this chart is looking absolutely beautiful. Completing this rounded bottom formation, it jumped above the 8-period exponential moving average, consolidated as it was finding resistance at that 50-period simple moving average. Then we got this pop up above it, and now it has been consolidating, has came back to the 8-period exponential moving average and turned around. So I am waiting for a break of, I'm going to call it probably 281. And if we get that break, I'm going to be very interested in taking a position in APTO, because I think this one has probably got some more movement left. I think it's got a date with this 200-period simple moving average right around, I call it 365-ish, because it's going to be, drifting lower every day. The next one that I want to go over is NEXT, actually. no pun intended. Next is starting to really gain some momentum. It's been fighting with that $4 range for about a couple of weeks, and it looks like it might finally be ready to push through it, but this is a very bullish pattern, and if Next can push through this area, call it 410 to 415, I think we've got the next leg up coming for this one. And last but not least is MGY. This one looks like it is ready to turn around. This is in this is in the oil and gas sector, and has been in a very nice uptrend, as you can see. But we got a little light pullback coming. You can see the volume is continuing to contract, and we're starting to get a lot of bottoming tails coming in. It's fighting with that 8-period exponential moving average, but once it gets through it, I think this is going to be a pretty nice trade. If you go to that 15-minute chart, you can put a trend line on this one. I already have an alert set if this thing breaks past 21, but I think if this thing ends up breaking this trend line, this one is going to be a very nice swing trade to the upside.
Okay everyone, that is all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, or if you have any other ones you want me to take a look at, please leave it down there in the comments section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care everybody.